It is 10 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get our mid-month meeting started. If we would, all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've been challenged with our prior invocation before the meeting. At the present time, we're waiting on some advice. So we're going to do a moment of silence, please. Thank you. First order of business is no changes in the agenda. So ask for a motion to approve.
Moved.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor? 5-0. Open up for public comments. Next item on the agenda. If anyone have anything to say, comment on, please come forward. Seeing no movement, we'll close the public comment session. Moving on down to the presentation of the board and facilities update. Mr. David Spicer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Certainly thankful that we can come to be here today, but to let everybody know what's been going on there, especially at the courthouse. The courthouse repairs are well underway. They are on schedule. Superior Court will be able to hold court this week in the courtroom. So that's all been dressed up and fixed up, and in the courtroom behind our secondary courtroom, there will be court there as well this week. So certainly a lot going on there, but all those repairs are going according to plan. There's been a few obstacles, but they have been overcome, and planning has been made to make arrangements to correct those things, so that's all in the works. The Daymark building, as you remember, we had some water damage there. That has finally been approved, and work is to begin in the Daymark building this week. So they were scheduling crews this week to be coming in at the Daymark building to get that back up and going. We have received the official letter from DEQ, so I can announce now that we did get the $30,000 grant for recycling. Now, recycling program is going to take a little bit of time to get that up and going, as we cannot spend the money until after July 1. So that is something to look forward to, though, before cold weather. We're going to try to have that compactor up and going before cold weather, provided that the manufacturers, everybody's having delays, and you can't hardly get anything, but hopefully it may only be a matter of just waiting just a few weeks longer on getting the compactor. So we're well on the way of that. Am making plans to with the compactor to have an extra container so that we can go back to recycling corrugated cardboard. So that's another positive note for Alleghany County. So our recycling facility hopefully will continue to improve. We're working diligently there. Those guys at the transfer facility are working really hard to make that place look better and be better. So be patient with us. We're still a work in progress. So certainly we're going with that. The fairgrounds, we've made some repairs at the fairgrounds. We have had a few items there that we've completed and things that's better and making improvements there. The fairgrounds is going to be up and running. There's already been a few events that's been held out there, and there is some planned. So there is some things that come in. Just keep on the lookout for those to be advertised. The things like the 4-H plant sale, and there was a livestock show, I think, this past weekend. There's been hoof trimming, all sorts of events that's going on now at the fairgrounds. The holes are being patched in the driveway this morning, so we're making improvements there. So that'll help matters, I think, quite a bit. So be looking for schedules on that. Everything else right now is pretty well okay. Vet Park is looking good. And of course, there's an event scheduled there for Vet Park on Memorial Day, so we'll let everybody be aware of that. So everything else, I reckon, is going along just like it's supposed to.
Everything good at the animal shelter, dog pound down there?
We had another inspection,
Right.
but we have already made the repairs that was requested of by the inspector. We also had an inspection at the transfer facility, and all of those have been corrected. We had very few infractions this time,
That's good.
very few.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, on the animal control shelter, we discussed a little bit about one of the challenges, ongoing challenges of the surface runoff water, and I think there was supposed to be, or maybe it's coming or has been, a meeting with the state. Can you give us an update on the status of that?
It has not occurred yet, but it is forthcoming.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's speaking to the challenge we've had about spending money to pump the septic tank when we get a lot of surface water.
Yes, sir.
So we are, okay.
Yes, sir.
Just so the public knows, we're trying to work towards that.
Yes, sir.
Much like a lot of the rest of us, we're waiting on a good rainy event that we can actually observe and identify. So.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else? Dave, appreciate the update, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up's Finance Officer. Financial update, April Hand.
Good morning, and I have some handouts.
Thank you. Thank you.
What I've handed out is the monthly financial update. Year-to-date revenue, $15,917,368.78. Year-to-date expenditures, $13,931,802.08. And then the approved general fund budget was $16,823,075. The bank balance as of today is $8,860,284.94. The bank balance basically a year ago on 5/29/20 was $4,597,670.32. The audited fund balance for 6/30/2020, $3,413,460. And our net financials as of this morning for this current fiscal year is $1,985,566.70, bringing that to a total of, again, an unaudited fund balance for this fiscal year, $5,399,026.70. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. Your second sheet is the sales tax revenue. We just received the sales tax for March. I got it posted this morning in the system, so this is current and up to date. Last year at this time, sales tax revenue was $586,014.91. As of this morning, with that latest revenue from March, it's $886,466.82.
The increase.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions?
That's good.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, April.
Emergency Management, Mr. Daniel Roten.
Morning.
Combination,
Morning.
but it's still there.
I'm here today to speak to you guys a little bit about the processes that we've been working through, the committee that has been developed to evaluate the potential move for our dispatch center. If you don't know, that committee is made up of Michael and Drew, David, Wendy, Nick, and myself. And we've been tasked with evaluating locations and options to improve our dispatch center, to either to construct a new facility, a new spot within a facility, or to expand it where it's at, or so forth and so on. So as part of that, we've given consideration to several locations, and we're trying to focus on security of the center, functionality of where that center would be as far as space requirements and things of that nature, and then also given some consideration to financial limitations, because we know we don't have some unlimited pot of money. If we did, we'd just go build a new building and put dispatch in it. But the first location, of course, that we considered was where it's at right now, in the law enforcement center. But to keep it where it's at and expand the system to a two-seat system, which is what we ideally would like, so that we can incorporate emergency medical dispatch, we really need 2 seats. To do that where it's currently located is very cost-intensive, because we'd have to tear down the block wall and rebuild a wall and spend about $100,000 just for the construction, and still have it located right next to the inmate processing area and holding cells and things. So that's sort of less than ideal. The next location that we gave consideration to was the EMS base, which, is, you may know, is where the backup PSAP is located at. Similar idea, expand the location where it's at to allow for 2 seats. The problem there is still very tight. We want to make sure that if we're going to move dispatch, we do it one time. Hopefully to the last, the county for at least the rest of my career. And the EMS base, could it fit in there? Of course, we could make it fit in there, but it would allow for 0 growth ever in the future. Now, we also gave some consideration to the Lions Club. The facility would be functional, would take some construction, would need a backup generator installed there and a radio tower. But it is a good facility, but you have the impression that we're basically taking over the building the Lions Club is using. And we want to avoid that if we can, too. We also gave some consideration to the BDC. The issues at the BDC is, one, sort of the unknowns of what offices may be available or not available, and security there, because there's a lot of foot traffic that goes in and out, and they wouldn't have their own bathroom and a few other things. Now, the last place that we gave consideration to was the storage units in this building, right down the hall right here. And after we got to looking into that, we would have to do some construction, of course, but we know we're going to have to do that no matter what facility we go to. That area, those 2 or 3 storage units, depending on what we needed there, already has bathroom hookups from when it was used as a temporary, when this was the courtroom and they had the holding cells down there. So there's already hookups for a bathroom. It's a nice, secure spot. That area of the building is basically a bunker. We can limit access and egress from there. And to do it, it would be quite cost effective. So, I can put a few numbers to some of that stuff if you want to. Basically, the construction cost, we feel like, in this location is about $21,000 just for the construction. We're going to need a radio tower, but we're going to need that wherever we go as well. Currently, we're using the radio tower that's at the EMS base. That tower feeds all the way down to the PSAP that's at the jail. It's not really tall enough as it is. So, the idea would be to put us a tower out here. The cost of that, the tower, and to get that radio signal piped into the building, the contractor said he estimated on the high side of the $100,000. The only other requirement really for this building would be backup power generation. Now, we've given some thought to, if we go that way, do we put a generator just on this floor? Do we power the whole building? That cost would determine some of that. The quote to provide backup power for the whole building is probably going to be somewhere around $75,000. We could probably do one floor for about $40,000. Now, those numbers are a little bit big and a little bit scary, but we've also applied for a grant through the 911 board, which is something that myself and Mr. Carter were talking about. We don't know that anyone's ever applied for a 911 grant here. So we're working through the process of that. The High Country Council of Government is helping us, and they're actually the ones that are going to write the grant with input from the committee and from myself. In addition to that, early on, we got a disaster declaration for a hurricane down east, actually. But when they do those things, we're able to kind of piggyback onto them and apply for mitigation grants. And part of that, or a small part of that, is generators. So I went ahead and put in an application for a generator at that time. Now, we're waiting to hear back on that. And I'd submitted that a couple months ago, and at the time, they said it'd be about 4 months before they knew. And I'm assuming it's federal money, so it's federal fiscal year. So, I expect to, if we hear something, yay or nay, it's probably going to be August, realistically. So, but at this time, I just wanted to let you guys know that the committee feels like the location here in this building provides us the most secure location that will last us for the next 30, 40 years and do it as cost effectively as possible. So if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
But, John?
Have you checked, I know they've changed the name, but the Defense Reutilization Office for generators?
There is a location in Raleigh that gets federal surplus stuff.
Right.
And we have looked into some of that, and I'm not discounting it. If we can get one through the grant, of course, we would love to have a brand new one. But it is a possibility, and I think, I looked the other day, and they do have one sitting down there. It's a whopper, it's 200 kW. But the cost is fairly minimal. Now, you don't know what you're really getting, so.
Well, that's going to increase because the Marine Corps has done away with all their tanks. That's 4 battalions of equipment that's going to come online, which would be roughly 50 generators, anywhere from 1 kW to 60 kW. They're going to come online now that they've shut those down. So you might want to look at it. If this doesn't come through, these are going to become available. I do recommend that if it's anything with USMC on it, be leery of it, but you take what you can get.
One of the, when I asked them in the past about the federal surplus generators, they said, well, we think they run. So we don't want to spend money on something and then not get a quality product. So, and also in addition to that, the 911 board gives guidance on when generators need to be replaced, when all your equipment needs to be replaced, and generators is on there too. And so they recommend every 10 years, but that's not a rule, it's just their guidance. So
We may get lucky. It may be a low-hour generator. I've got a neighbor that picked one up with 230 hours on it, 10 kW generator for less than $5,000. So, but that was through the same organization. We get them for nothing other than transportation for picking them up. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Sounds like a place for it to be right here. It makes a lot of good sense.
I think so. We think it served the county for a long time.
Right. Good, secure place there, too.
It's cheaper than building a building.
Thank you.
We appreciate you, Dan. Appreciate you, committee.
Thanks for the
all
good
work.
report.
Chamber update. Ms. Lisa Bottomley.
Morning.
Morning.
As always, thank you for having me here to report. Just to point out, the report that you have in front of you is more specifically around marketing this morning, a few things around the chamber, but I just wanted to let you know what to expect for today. Just a quick update, we have hired Casey McGill as our new office manager at the Chamber office. I am very thankful to have the help. Now, we are still, however, looking for someone to work in our visitor center around 4 days a week, and once in a while on a Saturday. So if anyone is interested, I'll just say this publicly, you can call 336-372-5473 and ask for me, Lisa Bottomley, and I'll walk you through the process of applying for that position. Now, moving on to marketing. Our Alleghany County magazine should be here hopefully any day now. We've done 8,000 copies. Those will be sent to North Carolina, Virginia, and some other states' visitor center. We included, of course, articles in that around the Blue Ridge Parkway, New River. We have a write-up on our agriculture in Alleghany, our Alleghany Health, and also included some articles on the VFW Museum and the Historical Museum, along with a lot of other content. I just won't go over all of that with you. We did not include date-specific events in this year's magazine just because of COVID, and also this way the magazine will be relevant for a longer period of time. Working with the Blue Ridge Parkway Association, we are working on the Blue Ridge Parkway Travel Planner. We will be in that this year. Blue Ridge Parkway Association Associate Marketing Partnership. And also, I am now a Blue Ridge Parkway Association board member and will be attending a meeting on May 27th, which is next week. So I'm excited about that opportunity and being more involved with them, considering that we are in the heart of the Blue Ridge Parkway. As you see, I have included some prices along with, through this report on somehow, things that costs. As you can see, Blue Ridge Parkway Travel Planner costs around $3,000, partnership $3,090. I just wanted you to see how expensive marketing is. We often get, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? There's a cost to doing all of that, and we are trying to find the most cost-effective way to market our county with the greatest amount of impact. And we feel like the Blue Ridge Parkway is one way to do that. We are still working with radio stations. Again, our messaging, as you can see there, we're adding messaging about our mountains, New River, shopping our stores, restaurants, our scenic views, and our drives, Heart of the Blue Ridge Parkway messaging. And we always use the authenticalleghany.com website at the end of every 30-second ad. And as you can see, there's a cost to that as well. We work with WKBC, WIFM, 580 in the Farm. We do an interview with West Jefferson each month promoting Alleghany. We also right now are in discussions with iHeartRadio, which is also WTQR Radio, about running some ads with them. As you can see, the price there is anywhere from $1,500 to $4,000, and that is not a long period of time. Their advertising is extremely expensive, but it's also got a great impact. So we are working with them just to see if there is something that we can afford there. Working with High Country Host, which is the regional visitor center located near Blowing Rock. We are updating information, of course, with them in regards to Sparta and Alleghany County, day trip information, special event information. We are going to begin participating in the High Country Marketing Partnership, which you see there is around $5,000 per year. This will enable us to buy ads in bulk, to receive discounts, promote the area as a whole, to showcase all our main attractions and trademark the term High Country. This includes print, digital, broadcast marketing, billboards, magazine spreads. So it's a great relationship to have. It's something that Alleghany County has not done for a while in the past. I believe the last time we did that was when Bob was the director of the chamber. So we need to be a part of that High Country Host initiative. They have changed a lot over the years, and I believe that relationship will absolutely boost our visibility in the High Country. Magazine publications, I always try to work with Alleghany News as much as possible. We place ads. We're also in the Fall Guide this year. We've added content to the Fall Guide, and I would try to work a lot with Bob and with Kobe in making sure we maintain that local relationship. We will of course have Blue Ridge Digest, Yadkin Valley, Surrey Living Magazine, and we will also be in the Western North Carolina magazine in the fall edition. Something that's not on your report is that I'm also working with the Blue Ridge National Heritage Area to highlight our arts and crafts, our music. That's huge in Alleghany County, and it brings a lot of people to our county and creates a lot of opportunity for heads and beds, for the TDA. We are working with them to gain content. Something that we've been lacking at the chamber are photos, videos, drone coverage. You know, we just didn't have it. And so the National Heritage Area, they're offering some of their content to us to be able to use on our authenticalleghany.com website, our Facebook page, and our Instagram. So that's going to be a great relationship to really boost our visibility as far as arts and crafts and music, and also our history and our culture. Let's see. And also, just to let you know that some of the costs you see, we will be asking the TDA for some supplemental funding to help with those marketing expenses. Our events, we have Music on Main coming up, scheduled for July through September. Our October event will coincide with Cycle NC, which will be bringing in close to 900 people into the Sparta area. We're currently booking bands and seeking sponsors for Music on Main. Blue Ridge Midnight Runners Cruise In. We had that in our first event was in May, and it was a very successful event. Town was packed. We gave out over 60 welcome to Alleghany packets with our magazine and map and list of restaurants. We met a lot of people from out of town that day, and it was a lot of fun. And we want to thank Jim Cox for that, for helping orchestrate that, and they're going to come back the first Saturday of each month up until September, maybe October. We don't know yet. We will be having the 4th of July Parade on July 3rd. Our Mountain Heritage Festival is scheduled for September 11th. This is also Patriots Day, and we do plan to honor those lost throughout the day from the main stage of that event. Authentically Alleghany website updates are ongoing. We want to include Alleghany as a destination location for outdoor activities, quiet, solitude, Blue Ridge Parkway, weddings, events, conferences, and tours. We are posting to Facebook, Instagram, working on scheduled posts and events through Facebook Business Suite. Still, our most popular post on social media is when I post about the trout schedule, the trout stocking schedule. Still the most popular and most shared post that we have. And also when it comes to highlighting certain areas of our county and our assets, like the New River and our parkway and our scenic views. We also are including Authentically Alleghany QR code in our Alleghany County magazine and in every ad that we put in magazines so that people can hold their phone up, scan it, and it'll take them directly to the Authentically Alleghany website. We want to make things easy for people, easy to find us. Just a brief chamber membership update. Still working on our benefits. We want to enhance those and just seeing what we can do with our current staff capacity. We have three new members for May: Imaging Specialist, Alleghany Chiropractic Center, and Dixon Interactive. Our spotlight business for May is Mountain Valley Hospice and Mountain Valley Hospice Resale Shop. And you do have a description there of what those are, just so you can read that on your own. And then Visitor Center, a number of visitors are remaining steady. We are seeing less people who are actually looking for property or places for live, and more people who are looking for something to do. What's there to do in Alleghany County? And of course, we always point them to our assets like the New River, hiking, our stores, so on and so forth. And we are still averaging about 35 visitors per month. I think a lot of that has to do with our weather that we've had. It's been colder, colder than what we expected, but we do expect a huge increase as soon as this weather breaks and the temps become warmer, especially I think after Memorial Day. So I know that's a lot of information, but I feel like it's important that you all are informed so that when you are asked by people in the community, what's the chamber doing, or what is Lisa doing, or what are they doing to help Alleghany County, this is what it is marketing-wise. But just to let you also know, we are involved in a lot of community boards, like the after-school program, Alleghany Leadership. I could go on with the number of boards that I'm involved in to try to help this community. Community development, as we've spoken to Michael Carter, is very important to us, and it will continue to be important to us. We also hold fundraising initiatives for the food closet, for Dana, for the Partnership for Children. I don't always toot our horn about that. My mom and dad taught me not to toot my horn when we do for others. But just to let you know, we are very invested in this community and will remain so. So if you'll have any questions for me before I sit down.
Questions?
You look busy.
I am busy.
Got a lot of events going on.
That's a good thing, though, and we are always looking for volunteers to help with our events, Music on Main and with the Mountain Heritage Festival. And as always, my door is open, so members of the community can come talk to me, have a cup of coffee with me, and discuss, their ideas and thoughts about how we can make Alleghany County stronger. My door is always open.
One quick question is, if folks are looking to hold an event and get it scheduled, just contact y'all to try to get on your calendar?
Absolutely, yeah, and we have been actually begging for that information. We still are finding events on Facebook and here and there that have not been communicated with us. We need to know what your events are so that people, when they go to our website, see what's going on in Alleghany County. And it is very time consuming, which I don't mind spending the time if I had it, but to go on social media looking for these things and that also sets us up for maybe putting some misinformation on our website. So we would really appreciate organizations send that information to us so that it's accurate and so that it's timely and so that people know what's going on.
And this could be accessed through your Facebook site?
Yeah,
The
I mean,
calendar,
yeah,
the
everything is
events and all?
accessible.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Mhm.
Okay, just putting that out there for the public. We need your events, if you're gonna have any, and try to get them on there. I have seen some posts asking if a parade was gonna take place.
Yeah, and it's
July
on the
4th.
calendar. All
And
people
I
have
went-
to do is
I
go
went
to
and-
it.
I
Yeah.
went and copied it. Actually, I took a screenshot of it and posted it
Yep.
so that I didn't miss the dates or do anything improper or wrong, so that I didn't make a mistake that way, so.
Any events that we've been informed about are on there, except for the Music on Main events right now. We were waiting till we booked some bands, and so that's forthcoming this week. But people are being informed, and again, we just ask people give us that information so that we can get the word out about what's there to do in Alleghany County. And you can find that calendar on our chamber website, but also authenticallyalleghany.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right, thank you.
We're on down, general business, fairground internet, Mr. Aaron Ray.
Good morning. I know we had discussed this about a month ago as far as the internet, having that access at the fairgrounds. As far as a follow-up, I know you all have been provided both of the bids that have been submitted. We're looking as far as direction now that you all want to proceed. The only thing that we have been able to apply for between the last meeting and now is a grant that would possibly cover the expense of this project. And that at this point is tabled until after the direction to see that you all would like to proceed. So that's where we are this morning.
Okay, we need a direction to get internet service out to the fairgrounds for the upcoming Fiber Fest. That's the 4th and 5th of June,
It's that first weekend.
first
yes.
weekend. And that's a much needed, you just gotta have it for the vendors to do business. Most people pay with a credit card and they gotta have ability to be able to do that, so we need to get it provided, get it established for the 4th and 5th. Any,
Are we providing the internet access for one event, or the bid that was presented was for a year, if I remember? $450 for the equipment and $89.95 for the service. Are we going to provide is this service going to be for the entire campgrounds? Is it going to be for the event?
That's what we need to decide. The urgent part is for that event.
Well,
And if we need to move whichever way we need to go, that's what the board needs to decide today.
I have provided to the chairman that for the event, it can be covered if the county desires it. The equipment is in place. As soon as he has access to his equipment, he can have that service up in about 5 minutes that will cover the black building. And he will be glad to provide that service for the county for this event at no charge. And I sent this information to to all the members of the council. So we can cover this event. If we are talking about coverage for the fairgrounds for the year, then we are talking, that is something that we need to discuss, because the quote that was given will only cover the black building. It will not cover the entire fairgrounds, will not cover the grandstand, will not cover the camping area. So that's 3 locations to give complete coverage, and it's going to be significantly more than the requested amount. But we can have the event covered, but the request needs to come from the county.
What's the feeling of the board? Bobby?
The urgency is the Fiber Fest, and you said that Jeff Smith's equipment could be up and running
Yes.
fairly quickly.
As soon as he has access to the equipment, he doesn't have access to the equipment right now. Equipment's installed, all it has to do is be modem turned on.
Where's his equipment?
In the black building, in the equipment locker. I believe Dave will know.
It's in the storage room, yes, sir.
And he'll do this, the black building, for no charge?
For no charge for the event.
I would make a motion that we would go with the Jeff Smith's offer, if it were in such a, if this thing needs to be done right away, we need to get that done so the people can be ready to use it at the Fiber Fest. I think they have to use it to run credit
They do,
cards
they
or
do.
present their programs or whatever.
They have to have it run credit cards to,
Yeah.
I
I would make that a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we accept Mr. Smith's gracious offer to get that up and running. I guess David's got a key to get him going.
This will be only for this event.
only for the Fiber Fest.
Question on that,
What?
is that going to give the coverage necessary for this event?
It will for the event. There will not be any coverage for the campgrounds. There will not be any coverage for the,
Excuse me, Aaron Ray, is the event contained to the black building, and will that signal be enough to cover where they're going to be located?
The
when they're
event
there
is
having the event?
contained to the black building. However, I do not know the specifics of what up and download speed that is available. However, previously, Deb Clemens, who is in charge of that event, had expressed concerns over the prior level of speed that was available. And in her suggestions was looking at it either needed to be faster or needed more bandwidth available.
Is that doable by Mr. Smith to increase
I don't
that?
know, whenever I asked Jeff and I brought it up, he said nobody had complained before, so apparently it was satisfactory whenever it was free.
See, it's been 2 years ago since we had Fiber Fest, right? Year before last.
Yep, year before last.
I have a motion on the floor.
We got a
Needs
motion.
second.
Need a second.
Well, if it's in question, we don't want to provide an inadequate service, I guess we could cancel the event, if that concern is there. If we can cover it, but it may not be to their demands, but we can cover it. It's going to be slow, perhaps.
On that note, I would probably, in thinking back, the last one they had was a full-blown
Yes, that is correct.
program, and this time it's scaled down, as I
Correct.
understand
Yep,
it.
very much so.
Maybe that would help this time to get us through this event. And with that, I mean, I think we need service rather than not having it. So I would second the motion that's on the floor.
I will call the motion.
But I would also ask that the board actually get in writing what our offers are going forward, because I know there was some kind of in an email, but I don't know if it was ever formally submitted. And we have, so that we could have what our options are going forward, so that then we could maybe decide from that and what the speeds are. I think it was probably in the one offer that you brought last time.
Yes, that's
Maybe we
correct.
could compare the two and inquire with them and give us a little bit of breathing time. But I'd say we need to move, fairly soon, because we got more events coming.
Right, only into July, but yes, that
And
is
then-
correct.
And then on Commissioner John Irwin's questions about, full coverage, or where are we with all of the coverage? What do we need, and can we cover the whole fairgrounds? And, kind of do a little bit more exploratory work on what the need is, and make sure that, we can cover whatever the need is going forward, and what our costs are. To make such a long second, but
Got a motion and a second to accept Jeff's offer to ask Jeff to install it back out to fairgrounds.
And that is contingent upon a written request from the county manager to provide the service.
Any further discussion? Not all in favor, raise your hand. You vote for?
Yeah, I vote
I
for.
didn't catch.
Excuse me.
5-0, sorry about that.
That was a quickie.
5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
Mr. Chairman, I've
Yes,
got a
sir.
question. Do we need to have a motion to have an RFP put out for the entire fairgrounds?
We don't need it, don't meet the contract requirement, does it, RFP? Or what's the,
In my opinion, if you're looking to expand upon what Commissioner Evans has described, and I'm not sure of when the next event would be that would require it.
There's events starting the 3rd and 4th week of July.
I don't think it's a bad idea to put some type of solicitation out there to identify, have it broken down, and to be able to evaluate it,
Scope of work.
pretty much.
I would,
Yeah.
I would make that motion that we have an RFP put out to cover to give us different options on covering the entire fairgrounds. And I think that he ought to work with whoever develops the RFP with David and the county manager to get a clear understanding of what's going to be, what areas will be covered.
We're going to start renting those campsites. We need to have,
yeah. but
we
you're
need to have
basically-
internet capability out there.
You're basically going to cover the whole bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's there, all the way around. Did you make a motion?
I made
We got a
that
motion, do I hear a second?
Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0. Okay, next we got the resolution establishing local physical recovery fund. Ms. April Hand.
Morning again.
Morning.
You should have a resolution explaining about the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Alleghany County has been slated to receive some of those funds, but we need to have a resolution in place for us to request and set up a new fund, a separate fund, to keep those funds in.
motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Motion and second, any further discussion? Not all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0.
Our federal monies.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, April. Next, Alleghany in motion.
take long.
No, incoming money, we get that quick. Potential for it, anyway.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm here today to request approval for our system safety plan and drug and alcohol policy. Both of these are required by the state in order to continue to receive funding.
Slept really good a couple of nights
Well, I bet.
going through these. Was this a boilerplate, something that you created, or did you
It was
create?
a template,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Question.
Yes.
Do you have training records so that you can show the training on fire extinguishers, locations of the fire extinguishers and all the other stuff that this says that you do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you do know that we don't have backup generator here, so if you have to, if you have to fall back, we aren't going to be able to provide electricity for running your computers. That's all the questions that I have, Mr. Chairman.
Any further, any more questions?
Motion to approve.
Got a motion to approve, do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, raise your hand. 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Tree farmers love you.
I will say, it makes for good reading.
If you're an insomniac.
A lot of reading here lately.
Okay, next is Logan Systems, Miranda Root.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm here today to answer any questions you have about our contract for the services provided by Logan and to get your approval to move forward with contracting with them for the next 4 years.
Okay. Any questions?
Have they been providing this service before? Just
Almost 20 years.
20 years? And no complaints?
Pretty good
Motion
record.
to approve.
Pretty
then.
good record. Got
It
a
is.
motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would just ask a question, which sounds like the service has been good. I mean, are we comfortable, do we know what pricing, is the pricing competitive if we went out to check? Or is it, is the service so unique that there's not a lot of options to provide this service? Just out of curiosity.
No, there are other companies. There's mainly 3 others that are within the state. There's BIS, COD, and computer or courthouse. But none of those provide the services that Logan does. Like Logan is turnkey, so they provide all of my computers, all of my scanners, my printers, everything. So if something, all of our software updates, everything is included. None of those do that. So
We had a very small IT budget, proposed IT budget for your department, so because of that.
yeah, they provide everything, so it's turnkey, and no other company does that. So as far as comparison to pricing, honestly, I can't answer that because I don't know what other companies charge for what services they provide. I've never priced it out. But given what the services that Logan offers, they go above and beyond most of them.
You would actually probably have to have that from 2 providers, what they do, plus the IT need or equipment need additional to
Right.
what others do not supply.
And the other ones don't do some of the other services, such as our archiving, some of the backups that we do. They don't do training, so if the time comes when I have to hire new staff, they charge for training staff, whereas Logan does not. So there's a lot of services that Logan provides that the other ones don't.
All right, thank you.
This is a legal document. As our lawyer looked at it and be sure that it's okay to sign, and
I briefly glanced at it when I got the packet, but I haven't been through it with a fine-tooth comb. But it is a contract that you've signed multiple times before.
I've only signed it once before. Prior to that, the past register signed. But, I mean, pretty much nothing's changed in it, other than we do not, the prior contract said that we would mail plats to them, and then they would send them to archives and all that stuff for $6 per plat. We don't do that anymore. We scan everything in-house, and then Logan backs everything up to archives for no extra charge. So we're actually saving a lot of money doing it in-house.
Mr. Chairman, I would just suggest that our legal, we go ahead and approve this depending on what Heather says, because I know being on the Finance Committee this last time, there was some deals made before that we got stuck with, we couldn't get out of because we signed a contract without knowing some of the specifics that we should have known. So that's my only comment.
Okay. John?
One thing that stands out real quick, we're looking at a rather, If we, you said they provide the computers that you're using right now.
Yes.
They're Macs? Are
They-
are they Mac computers?
No.
They're Microsoft?
Yes.
Okay, so they're Microsoft. So if we don't approve this, we go with somebody else, we got to buy computers automatically. How many computers do you have?
9 terminals, not counting all the printers,
Lord.
and not counting the plat
It
printer
would
that would, and you're it's not just that. Then you have to pay the vendor to come in, switch everything over, and I can't even put a price on it.
Looking at the price right there, we couldn't even buy the computers for what
No.
they're, oh, yes.
Sorry, it's 10 computers, because counting the veteran's computer.
Right. Thank you.
Any further questions?
No.
Do I hear a motion?
Are they on the floor?
We're already on the floor. Good deal.
I would second that if you don't have one.
That's a motion, and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. 5-0.
Thank you.
So long.
Thank you. Next up is Courthouse Committee. County Manager, Mr. Carter.
Chairman, members of the board, if you recall last year, I had asked for a courthouse committee to be set up because of all the repairs and the various things that were coming on us. And at that time, the board appointed Commissioner Bobby and John Irwin on that committee. Well, we've gotten through some of those tasks, but now we have some additional items that are coming into play, such as word is out that there's space within that new court facility. And I get an email maybe every 2 to 3 weeks from somebody that sure would like to occupy it. And I would like to have this committee back so that we can discuss those options. I know that we have some additional repairs that are being made that I would like for them to be involved with as well. And as of late, I think we're all aware of a potential ribbon cutting that we need to look into in more detail. So I would ask that the board once again appoint either the same two or others, but I would like to have that committee refreshed for the upcoming year.
Well, I don't see no problem with same two we had. Same committee, as far as that goes. They worked all the way through this
That's right.
program, if they're still willing to
I'd be willing to stay.
carry that on through.
Mr. Chairman, it is very rare that someone asks me to come back on a committee, so I'm going to say yes quickly.
So we got the two commissioners back on, and who was the chairman of that committee? They can, was there one, or?
I
think
defer
they'd
to
flip a
the
coin.
elder Irwin.
Who the elder are you?
Thanks.
So, so
He
you
is
know,
more wise and inexperienced.
Commissioner Bobby, he'll get that organized for everybody, set up a date. All righty. Ms. Rita Miller.
Morning.
Morning.
So I brought Georgia Melton with me this morning. She's our personal property appraiser, and it's her responsibility to deal with campers and solid waste fees. In case there's questions that come up that I can't answer, then we'll get Georgia's expertise on that. So at the work session, I brought up the challenges we have with campers and solid waste fees, and how campers that have been listed as untagged, some get solid waste fees, some do not. We have challenges with campgrounds where the individual lots are owned, or they're on rented lots. The campground owns everything, rents out the lots. While I was at the work session, Georgia and the real property appraiser actually went out to one of these campgrounds, and she brought back some information to me that I just wanted to share with you. So the
campground that she went out to, she found 84 campers that were parked. And at this time of the year, it's not a very busy time of year, with various decks and porches and things built onto them. These 84 campers were not assessed a solid waste fee. We found 83 campers that we did have listed, 84 that we did not, and 18 vacant lots. And this is a campground where they actually own the lot. So I guess what I'm asking for at this time is some clear direction from the board on how we need to handle campers and solid waste fees. I think that I would propose that untagged campers get a solid waste fee, those that are listed with the county. And in the campgrounds where the lots are owned, we put a solid waste fee on each lot. If they want to come back and say, I didn't have a camper on that lot, not one night during the year, maybe something like we do the release request, where they have to come in, fill out the form, sign it saying they didn't have a camper, not even one day on that lot. Because in one of the campgrounds, they may own 2 lots, and they use the second lot for parking. That's not common. Usually they have that second lot for family or someone to bring a camper and put in. So that's what I'm asking for, some clear direction so that we don't have releases and refunds and someone in a park saying, well, I'm paying, why aren't they paying? I just want to treat them all uniformly. Or the other option is not to put a solid waste fee on campers at all, which I don't think that sounded very favorable, so.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay, yes, sir.
on the, say if we do assess them all, if someone comes in to request a release because they didn't have, in the example you give, would that request come all the way to the board?
Yes, sir, I do not have the
That's
authority
what
to
I-
grant
okay,
that.
Right.
Yes,
So-
it would
so
have to
that-
come to the board.
So that, no one would have to worry about, the buck stops here, and you all wouldn't have to make that decision, and then it would come to us to make, okay? Which would be the same for everybody that asks, should we go that route?
Yes, any request for release of solid waste would come to the board.
What burden would it place on you if we made the suggestion and approved that the solid waste fee for campers, whether tagged or untagged, would be half of the current solid waste fee?
It's not,
Going to present a problem on your staff?
that would just be a programming issue. The problem would be, I don't know if Georgia wants to speak to that, but the problem would be trying to keep up with all of it. The tagged campers, and if they're here this year or not here next year, things like that. I think the biggest issue that I think of is just the programming issue. Is there anything else you
Well,
want to add?
and it's not fair to some because we did a discovery.
Please.
It's not fair to some because we just did a discovery on a gentleman that had had a camper for 4 years and never listed it and never tagged it. And we did a discovery, got his monies, and he says, well, the guys around me have never listed and don't pay anything. And that's why I went out to the campground to see, and half did and half didn't. And it's not a problem for me to change and adjust the value, but we need guidance on what to do because each year we've got something different.
Well, I'm looking for an out. If we say every camper, whether you are tagged or not, is going to have a solid waste fee, and if we charge them half what a residential fee is, we can always look at them and say, you're paying half of what a house is. You may not be here all the time, but we're only charging you half. But I also, if I make that motion, I don't want to burden you.
I think the only,
Now, no matter what we do, we're going to get complaints.
yes,
Absolutely.
There is a concern that we talked about because we have residential properties that are occupied similarly to campers. They're not full-time. And so if we start to give a different rate for them because of the usage, then what's going to happen from the public on these homes that are summer homes, vacation homes, that kind of stuff? So we need to be careful in that regard.
Good point.
There'll be half those folks down here want the same. we've talked about this before about a year or so ago, and,
One of the things that I do in putting in campers on residential parcels, I do put the solid waste fee on them because they have a hookup. So, you know, they already getting the solid waste fee.
Okay.
That wouldn't change for them.
Well, so you're looking for action from us today, correct?
If possible, I can bring back a written proposal if you would like, but
Mr. Chairman, I believe that in all fairness, that we need to charge a solid waste fee, whether tagged or not. And I will make that motion.
got a motion in a second. Any further discussion?
I have one question.
Okay.
What deems a camper usable or unusable?
usually what we look at is it hooked up to well and septic, electric, things like that. And we do have many listings of campers that are deemed storage. I guess, really, George, I guess that's really, you wouldn't lay your head down in it, but they use it to store stuff in.
And we can tell those when we go out and look, and they have a $300 value until they tear them down.
Yeah, they're still taxed until they're disposed of.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I would just say that that's a good starting place. We'll kind of see what happens from there and you know, try to be, do the best we can going forward, but that's the fair way. Everybody's at the same place, it's the starting place, and I think, you know, I favor it, so.
I agree. I think it's the fair thing to do, just based on the campers and the part-timers. We've got a lot of part-time people in Alleghany County. So you gotta
That's
treat them all,
growing
treat them all the same.
fast.
So anyway, motion and second. Any further? All in favor? Raise your hand. 5-0.
Other thing that I had was a request for a release of a residential solid waste fee, 1782 Bledsoe Creek Road. Appraiser did do the field review as usual. Property did appear vacant, water and power disconnected, but the appraiser said that the property also appeared habitable. And this particular board has asked that question, is it habitable? My appraiser said it did appear to be habitable. Based upon your previous things in the last year or so, my recommendation would have to be to deny that request based upon that did property appear to be habitable, and the answer being yes. But it was vacant.
Mr. Chairman, my document is the property currently habitable. I have a negative. I have no. Do you have?
Mine says the
Right
property
here it says
appear to be
yes.
habitable. Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the owner's?
That's what the owner.
That's the owner
All
said.
right, that's what the owner put down, but you
Put
feel
down.
that it is?
Yes.
All right, now,
Any electricity?
No, the
No.
electric has been cut off.
Okay.
The owner's statement was that this was a parent's property and that at this time, they didn't plan to do anything with it other than storage.
On that, I would make a motion to deny the request unless they could produce something that was showing it wasn't habitable.
I'll second.
Got a motion to deny the request and a second. Any further discussion? Not all in favor? 5-0. Consent agenda.
Only thing I have for that, unless, of course, answer any questions you may have, the license plate agency month-end report, those numbers come in after I submit this. So for April, there were 1,541 transactions, and our monthly compensation was only $200 less than our highest month since we began. It was $5,507.91.
Okay.
And then also included the Board of E&R minutes for approval. And that's all, unless you have questions on me about the consent agenda.
Questions?
I have none.
Mr. Chairman.
A motion to accept.
Moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, raise your hand. 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Any managers' comments? April building inspection.
Chairman, I have a few comments. You have in your packet, as you just mentioned, your April building inspection report. I would encourage you to look over that. Additionally, I'd like to mention a couple things. One, I think I noted at our work session, the courthouse roof is now in a better state as far as actually getting to go out for bid. We actually have a pre-bid meeting on Wednesday, May the 19th at 11 o'clock in this room. The sealed bids, they will be received from any potential bidders until 2 o'clock on June the 3rd and be open and read aloud. So we now have some positive movement on getting that roof replacement completed. Additionally, I'd like to say, as a reminder, we have our public hearing on the proposed budget this Thursday, May the 20th at 6 o'clock. And my last comment is there has been some communication in the last couple of months with the hospital about various opportunities that I think the board would like to speak about. And one of those is what is being defined as a health sitter. I think we've talked about someone to sit with some of these as opposed to some law enforcement. So there is a meeting actually on the 18th, which is tomorrow, at 2 o'clock to learn more about that potential opportunity. That's all I have at this point.
Who is that meeting consist of?
If you hold on just a minute, I can tell you who was on the invite list. And if you all want to go ahead, if I could come back after Commissioner, I'll be glad to.
We'll get in with county commissioner comments. Mr. John.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as the county manager advised, we will be talking about the budget on the 20th. One of the things, if you were able to stay awake during our work sessions and going over the budget, one of the things that is kind of mired in the minutia is what I'm going to point out now. In the last year, we have a number of agencies that have come to task because things were rather unusual under COVID-19. Council of Aging has provided quite a few meals to seniors that were in because of the China virus. They incurred expenses. Granted, they did get some COVID-19 money, but they have additional things that have come up that were not in the budget. Whenever we have a budget, the county manager receives a wish list. Various departments and agencies come in and they say, we would like an appropriation of this amount. He works hard. He has a limit because we are estimating the amount of revenue that we are going to get, and he has to go with that. Invariably, things are reduced because we simply cannot do it. Now, one of the things that we as a county commissioners do, because we pass the budget, we have to look at the recommendations of the county manager and go from there. And this is what I'd like to point out. Council on Aging requested $145,000. After we went through and we cut the amount that they did not receive, but or the amount below their request was $10,127. Alleghany County Group Home requested $4,500 more than we are going to be able to give them. We had a presentation by PCJC, the youth that handles court, a kind of a courtroom setting so that youth that are in trouble can appear before their peers. The nice thing about this, if you look, according to the information that they gave us, in the court system of North Carolina, if you have a youth that appears within the system, the recidivism rate, going back to their bad behavior, is, I believe, over 30%. Under this program, with their peers, it's less than 10%. Well, they requested $9,100 more than we are going to be able to provide them. Partnership for Children was short $500. Now, that comes out to a total of $23,227 that we have not been able to meet their request. Yet, on economic development, we have budgeted at the present time $28,735. On March the 2nd, they appeared in front of the town council meeting, according to one of the town councilmen. I did not watch the program. It is on the internet. You can go and you can watch it. And they told the town, if you don't give us any money, we'll be able to get through. Now, during our budget process, Commissioner Irwin, Bobby Irwin, stated that the same statement was made whenever they were appearing before the Budget Committee. So we are cutting, or not allowed, we are not budgeting agencies that are helping our elderly to the full extent that they requested, a youth program, but we are going to budget for an agency that has told us, both the town and the county, if you don't give us any money, we'll still be able to go through and perform. This is where the budget meeting Thursday, the public needs to come and let us know how you feel about this. Because let's be clear, we all have our pet projects as commissioners. We lean certain ways. But it's your tax money. You need to tell us how you want to spend it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Michelle?
I'd just like to say that a lot of hard work was put into the budget, and you, as the citizens, need to come out and tell us how you want your money spent, because that's your right. Also, I'd like to say that in order to keep our businesses here in this county, we need you to come out and support them. Support them by eating out at the restaurants, shopping locally, and for people to get out and get a job. We have some restaurants here that have had to close and not work their normal hours because they don't have enough help to serve everyone. So, you know, the stimulus money is going to eventually run out. We need people to go to work. The last thing I want to say is that we've talked a little bit about our animal shelter here. They try very hard over at Twin Oaks not to ever put a dog or cat asleep. But right now, the shelter is overflowing. So if you have room, they need help right now. So just please consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Commissioner Martin?
I would just offer that I'm hearing a lot talking about the employers, the challenges, the workforce. It is awful everywhere. It's not just here. But we are here. No one's coming to save us. And I'd like for us as a board to, consider, is there anything we can do? What can we do to try to look and see what's going on in our workforce development? Maybe affordable housing is a challenge. Is there any opportunities there? I just think we should try to roll up our sleeves in that area. It's not as if we don't have plenty to already do, and I get that, but at the same time, this is a area that is where we seem to always struggle in, and now with things the way they are, it's really, really evident and a challenge for lots of folks. And as far as the budget goes, we did have our first work session with the full board, went through a lot. There is always requests, and you've got to go through and figure that out. I personally would, I guess, kind of take offense to saying that I don't look at it as having pet projects. There are projects on there that I'm more familiar with because I serve in those areas on some of the boards that I'm on. So I have a little more skin in the game in that area. And I would hope that everybody that's serving in the different areas would try to advocate for what they think is best for the citizens through that organization. And that's what we do. And at the end, hopefully, we can hear from the public Thursday, their concerns. It's hard to hear from the public. I know that's one of the frustrations I have is I tend to get, small snippets from an individual or two here and there, but that's not a broad feeling across the county when you're hearing from just a very small handful of folks. And this is the opportunity to hear from all of you. I mean, we're here. Some of these meetings seem like they go on forever, but I wouldn't mind them going on further if it was the public coming in and sharing their concerns. Oftentimes, they're not as educated and don't know a lot about what actually some of the requirements, the statutes, the mandates, and things that we have to deal with, but would certainly love to engage with more folks from the public. So would invite you to come Thursday, and that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Bobby?
The Memorial Day will be Monday, the 31st, and the event will be celebrated at the VFW and the Marine Corps League and Americans Disabled, American Legion, and several other organizations at the Veterans Park at 1 o'clock. That's Monday, the 31st at 1 o'clock. We look forward to hopefully good weather and everybody showing up that can make it that day. And also like to comment on the mask mandate has been lifted, the crowd numbers have been lifted. Being out shopping this weekend, and quite evident that that light switch just was flipped and everybody quit wearing them almost on that day, and now we can get back to some sort of normalcy. I don't know how long that'll take, but there are a few limitations on where you still have to wear a mask, but there are very few. Hospitals, public transportation, airports, train stations, things like that. But speaking about the budget, I know this is my first year on the budget committee. I have learned a lot. Our fund balance greatly improved, and I hope by next year we'll see another improvement, and then maybe the state will get off of our back. We're moving in the right direction. And I think like Michelle, John, all of us, Mark, all of us know that everybody has a passion for a lot of different things. Sometimes it comes down to you have the money and you don't have the money. I think the biggest part of the people involved in the budget request were happy, and there's always going to be some that are not going to be as happy. But if we can find a way to help some organizations, possibly later in the year, that's always an option that the board has. I just think that we've done a lot of legwork in the last 4 months on the budget, and we'll give the general public will have a chance Thursday to come and voice their opinion. I just wish more people would attend our regular meetings, and they might have a better understanding, of what it takes to run the county government. The biggest part of the budget, I don't know what percentage, but a large part of it, the commissioners basically have no choice. It's mandated by either the state or the federal government. But we do have options on a small part of the budget. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Bobby. Echoing the same sentiments about the budget. I've sat on that budget committee the second year, and a lot of it is out of our control, but some of it is, and I do dare say I think the part that's in our control that probably 95% of that was cut this time. Took a form of cut, 90 to 95%. And you can't cut some services. You can't cut EMS and some of those things. And the public, come on out and talk to us next Thursday. I mean, if you're supporters of whatever, come out and talk to us and let us know how you feel. I'd like to see this place, a lot of people in there to tell us what they think. Moving on down, last week was National Police Officers Week, and I just want to say thank you to that group that comes out and goes to work every day and keeps Alleghany County safe for us. To all law enforcement officials, every one of them, they've got a job that's hard to do, and it's very demanding of them. And so if you see them out on the street, give them a thumbs up or a thank you or something, just to let them know we care about them, we think about them, and we support them. And this week is National EMS Week. They got a lot of going on this week, and so same goes for the EMS workers. We can't get by without them. They're a big asset and a wonderful group of people that does that work. They're a dedicated group. A big thank you to that crowd. Fiberfest is the first weekend in June, the 4th and 5th. Come out to the fairgrounds. That's the first event we're holding out there. Come out and take that in. You'll enjoy that. Farmers Market, another every Saturday deal at the Farmers Market over on 18 North. They're set up every Saturday there. The Earthquake Disaster Relief Fund still going on for those that's been impacted by the earthquake. There's funds available for living expense, basically is the way that works, and you need to contact Daniel Roten to get that process started. That's about all I have. We'll back up now to County Manager.
Question about the meeting with the hospital, the individuals on the email. Is Ricky Brown, Robert Lane, Town Manager, myself, Chairman Bill Osborne, Drew Temple, Ashley Murray, and it appears the Sheriff's Department.
Anyone from Via?
Catherine is actually the one that sent it out, Catherine Doby.
Okay.
So there will be representation there, yes.
Mr. Chairman, one other thing, just for the public, if you haven't seen the proposed budget, it is available on our website. Separates it expenses and revenues. Thank you.
Thank you.
One point.
Yes, sir.
Thankfully to Drew. Via, I don't see. Hospital, I do, because Catherine is representing the hospital.
Okay. Do you have anything?
I have a couple things, just to give you guys an update. I'm working on getting the warranty for the, what is it, the Doosan?
Odor.
Yeah, I'm working on that. We've had to go back to the company that sold it, and then they're going back to whatever company provides the warranty. So I'm waiting to get that. We're trying to hound them a little bit to get it, because we don't have a copy. I'm not really sure what happened to it, so working on that. The other thing, we are getting to the point where we'll be able to maybe present the animal control ordinance. I think it's, at the final little bit where we're kind of going back and forth and trying to clarify a few things before that goes forward. But it is in the process, and we are working on that. The opioid settlement is coming to I don't want to say ahead, but it is coming to an end where that settlement will be, I think it's available now for viewing. There is a memorandum of agreement with the Department of Justice, and the Council of Government is asking that all 100 counties sign off on that. So if you haven't looked at it or received a copy, let me know, because I can get you one for that. The last thing I'll mention is that I'm waiting on the DMV to get back to me in regards to removing that trailer at the transfer facility. So that's in the process. It just takes a little while. DMV is very slow in responding at this point, so it's been about a month since I've communicated with them, and I'm just waiting to hear back. So I don't have anything, but eventually we will be able to do something with that, and we'll be able to get it off of the property.
Thank you. Nothing further. Here, a motion to
What
adjourn.
time is our work session begin this afternoon?
1 o'clock.
1300?
1 o'clock.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion here, second.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor. Thank you, everybody. Thank y'all for coming.